This is ILTV on the hour, bringing you the biggest stories from Israel and the Middle East in just 5 minutes. I'm Caleb Ben David. Today is day 643 of the war in Gaza, and let's get into the top headlines this hour. Prime Minister Netanyahu will reportedly be returning home to Israel before the weekend after 2 intensive meetings with President Trump in Washington. Focused on reaching a ceasefire agreement with Hamas in Gaza, Netanyahu will apparently be heading home with issues still unresolved for a hostage deal. Netanyahu told reporters he and the president have a shared objective to end Hamas rule and to free the hostages.
President Trump and I have a common goal. We want to achieve the release of our hostages. We want to end Hamas rule in Gaza. We want to make sure that Gaza does not pose a threat to Israel anymore. In pursuing this common goal, we have a common strategy. Not only do we have a common strategy, we have common tactics. This doesn't involve pressure, doesn't involve coercion, it involves full coordination. President Trump wants a deal, but not at any price. I want a deal, but not at any price. Israel has security requirements and other requirements, and we're working together to try to achieve it.
Back in Israel, an IDF soldier was killed during an attempted Hamas abduction of the soldier in southern Gaza. The fallen soldier was identified as Abraham Azulai, 25 years old, from the community of Yitzhar in Samaria. According to an ongoing IDF probe, several Hamas gunmen emerged from a tunnel and attacked IDF troops in Khan Yunis. During the attack, gunmen tried to snatch Azulai's body. Other soldiers operating in the area opened fire at the terrorists and prevented the attempt. Elsewhere in Gaza, the IDF has begun encircling Beit Hanun and destroying Hamas military infrastructure in the northern strip. The operation began yesterday, shortly after 5 IDF soldiers were killed and 14 wounded by a roadside bomb. This as the Air Force is conducting a fire belt of continuous gunfire in the area as well as additional airstrikes in Gaza City. Now, Beit Hanun is close to the Israeli border town of Sderot and has long been a hotspot for terrorists to launch rockets at Israel. Speaking last night at the National Security College graduation ceremony, IDF Chief of Staff Eyal Zamir said the ongoing offensive against Hamas can enable a hostage deal with the terrorists. According to Zamir, the conditions to advance a deal for the release of the hostages have been created. Meanwhile, in Doha, Israeli mediators reportedly handed new maps to mediators showing the lines of a partial IDF withdrawal during a proposed ceasefire deal with Hamas in Gaza. The U.S. reportedly pressured Israel to limit the IDF presence in Gaza as part of the agreement. The previous withdrawal lines proposed by Israel were rejected by Hamas, and the issue has become the main sticking point in the mediated negotiations. Israel is insisting that the IDF remain in the Morag corridor in southern Gaza, where it plans to create a so-called humanitarian zone for the civilian population in the Rafah area. U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff delayed his announced trip to Doha earlier this week, indicating that a deal might not yet be in reach. And back on the home front, early this morning, Yemen's Houthis rebels fired a single missile towards central Israel. Air defenses were activated and the threat was neutralized. Sirens sounded in much of central Israel, the Jerusalem area, and some parts of Judea and Samaria. There were no injuries and damages caused. Earlier this week, Israel launched airstrikes against various Houthi targets in Yemen, including the Hodeidah port, amid ongoing missile attacks by the Iran-backed groups. And on the northern front, the IDF staged a rare cross-border ground operation amid the ongoing truce for Lebanon. For months, the Air Force has been conducting near-daily strikes against Hezbollah targets. Hezbollah has not fired back since the November truce went into effect. IDF troops staged their first ground incursion in Lebanon in months. And that ends this brief from ILTV, but stay tuned with all the news with us on the hour.